Hello, my name is Kelly, and today I'll be reviewing The Queen of the Tearling by Erika Johansen. Look at this pretty cover, it's so nice. If you haven't heard of this book, I found this book on Goodreads, so I don't know if many of the booktubers have heard of this, or maybe that's just arrogant of me to think, but yeah, so if you haven't heard of this, it's about these people that travel over from America and like Britain, and they're from there and they go out and find this new land, and it's called the Tearling. It's weird because it's set in the future, but they ride horses and all their medicine got lost, so they don't have that anymore. And there's kings and queens running the nations that you hear of. So it's a lot different than what you think a future for America would be. Anyway, the capital of the Tearling is called New London. So I guess they're all British there? I don't know. So this book is about the Queen of Tearling. It's from her perspective, and her name is Kelsey, and she is so great because she was like kept away from her mom and like the royalness of her life, and she's like thrown into this one day, and she is just so great. She's a great character, and reading about how she deals with situations and how she thinks through things is so smart. And she's only 19. Another thing that I really loved about the book was that there were so many variations in all the characters, and I mean all of them. There was like a 60-year-old guy, and then there were like little kids, and there were like all of Kelsey's guards were like 40 or 50-year-old men. And I'm like, this is so weird because I never really dealt with older types of people in like YA, you know? So that was just really weird. And the closest person to Kelsey's age was this guy named The Fetch, and he was like 25. Anyway, the variation in these people, it is great because there's arrogant asshole characters that you just love, and then there's asshole characters that you hate, and then there's like the lazy slobs that you hate, and badass people that you root for, and it just has all of that in this one book. And there's religion and like slavery, and there's magic too. I just think this book put together so many ideas and thoughts and characters that I would have never put together. Another thing that I loved about this book is the kingdom, and how you got to be in the castle and you got to learn about the queen's wing, and you got to learn her guards' names and like their connection, and there is a story behind it, and it's like not just about this girl discovering that she's queen. It's like this girl being queen and like being so awesome at it. I know it's really cliche to say that it's totally different than everything else, but I think every book's are different from each other, and this one was no exception at all. It was just so amazing. If you haven't read it, then you should do that and then come back, because I'm going to go into spoiler stuff and you won't want to be spoiled on this. So thank you for watching up to here, and spoiler part now. The Fetch, oh my gosh, he made like 2 appearances or 3 because he had his own chapter, but oh my gosh, something about him is so great, and I want to know more about him. Seems to know whatever the queen does about living longer than normal, and I think that's very interesting. He is mysterious and badass, and you kind of want to slap him, but then you kind of like want to make out with him at the same time because he's great. And Kelsey and him, I'm totally all for that. It was so weird reading about the cages and the lottery, and it's really kind of scary because that stuff is like happening now, like in the black market and stuff, and it's not public as it was in this book, but it's just scary to think about how real some of these events in this book are. It's scary that some people are like Thorn, and some people keep trying and trying and trying to do the bad thing. He's an interesting guy, and I know he wasn't gonna be like cut off in this first book. The Red Queen, holy cow, she was not what I was expecting. I thought she was going to be this iron fist that ruled over her kingdom, but she is not. She didn't even want to invade the Tearling the first time, which I thought was weird, but different characters and stuff. I want to know what the necklaces do. I want to know why she wants them and why they didn't work for Kelsey's mom. I was kind of surprised to hear that one of her guards went against her, and they're all great guys, and as you read this book you learn to love all of them, and I couldn't picture any of them betraying her, but it was Mern, and that made me actually really sad because I was like, hey, that guy just needs like a hug, but he, wow. I like Mace and I like Penn. I felt bad for Mace when he wanted to resign though, because he didn't want to get killed by Kelsey, and I was like, oh shit. But he's great. He's like 45 and he can like kill 6 Cadens, and I was like, holy cow, man, you're crazy. Oh my gosh, when Priest Tyler, he was like looking at the mace, like looking all angry at the bookshelf, and he's like, oh my gosh, the mace can't read, and I was like, oh shoot. And I think it's funny how she thinks of him as the mace, but she calls him Lazarus. And I also love about Kelsey is that I thought she was gonna be like culture shocked when she actually got to the keep, because she was living in the woods for 18 years, but she took to it so well, and it was almost crazy calm. Like, she didn't freak out at all over anything. I thought that was great for her. I was like, yeah. It's like she always knew how to be queen. Like, she would kind of freak out internally, but then when she spoke, queenness took over her, and I was like, yes, you go, girl. And she wasn't ever afraid to talk down to the guards and like telling them what to do, even though they're like 30 years older than her. So I think that's pretty much it for this video. I think of anything else to say, I will definitely leave it in the doodly-doo. And if you have anything to say, please comment. Thank you for watching, and I will hopefully have another video up soon. So I'll see you then. Bye!